Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Breakdown. Today we're going to be checking out the Aqua Control Plus series of pads, which is the core of X-Raypad's mousepad lineups. This pad's legendary performance and consistency since its release have made it a standout, as many of our modern pad designs, such as the AC Pro and the AC Plus V2, are still based on the AC Plus's core design. The AC Plus series is so legendary in fact that it is still the pad of choice for many esports pros, including T1's Buzz, who uses the Aqua Control Plus in the white colorway, as well as Genji Munchkin, who uses the AC Plus Wave, and many more. And much like many of X-Raypad's other pad lineups, the AC Plus series pads come in a variety of types, as there is the standard AC Plus pads, but also the AC Plus Custom and the AC Plus Wave series, all of which maintain the same balanced or hybrid performance profiles, just with some slight variations to them. So in today's episode of Breakdown, we're going to break down all the unique features of the AC Plus series of pads, and talk more in depth about their surfacing, their bases, friction profiles, performance profiles, skate compatibility, what games the pads are best suited for, and much more. But before we dive in, if you enjoyed the video and want to see more videos like this, breaking down X-Raypad's other pad lineups and products, be sure to leave a like on this video and get subscribed to the channel. And if you want to learn more about the AC Plus series of pads or pick one up for yourself, you can check out the product links down in the video description. For pricing and versions, as I just mentioned, the AC Plus series of pads are available in several types, including the standard AC Plus in the black and white colorway, the AC Wave, and the AC Custom. All of these versions are currently available in both 3 and 4mm thicknesses. However, in the near future, the 3mm version of all the aforementioned pads will be discontinued, and as such, I'm only going to outline the sizing and pricing for the 4mm versions today. Now, for the standard AC Plus series pads in the black or white colorway, they are available in the following sizes: 360 by 300 by 400mm, 450 by 400 by 4mm, 500 by 500 by 4mm, 600 by 400 by 4mm, 900 by 400 by 4mm, 1000 by 500 by 4mm, and 1200 by 550 by 4mm. And these pads retail between $13.90 and $59.90 USD depending on the size you choose. On the other hand, the AC Plus Wave pads are available in multiple colors: Fire, Love, Night, Ocean, Smexy, Storm, and Young, and all these feature the same wave-like design and are available in the following sizes: 360 by 300 by 4mm, 450 by 400 by 4mm, 500 by 500 by 4mm, 600 by 500 by 4mm, and 900 by 400 by 4mm, and all versions of the AC Wave retail between $19.90 and $39.90 USD, again depending on the size you purchase. And lastly, we have the AC Plus Custom series, which, like many of X-Raypad's other pad series, can be fully customized with your own art, which allows you to create your own unique mousepad, and the custom versions of the AC Plus are available in the following sizes: 360 by 300 by 4mm, 450 by 400 by 4mm, 500 by 500 by 4mm, 600 by 400 by 4mm, 900 by 400 by 4mm, 1000 by 500 by 4mm, and 1200 by 550 by 4mm. Now, due to the custom printing required for this version of the AC Plus series pads, the custom versions retail for slightly more than the standard and wave versions, priced between $19.90 and $79.90 USD depending on the size you get. And as always with X-Raypad products, if you purchase them directly from X-Raypad's website, the pads will be available for a discounted price. However, if you purchase the pad from a third-party retailers, you will be paying the full MSRP. But don't forget that you can use code BREAKDOWN when purchasing any of the AC Plus series pads or any of X-Raypad's other products for that matter to save even more on your order. And just to reiterate, the 3mm version of all the AC Plus series pads will be discontinued in the near future, which is why I didn't mention them in detail here. However, some of them might still be available on the website in different sizes and at different price points. Now, for unboxing, all the AC Plus series pads will come in rolled rectangular packaging, similar to the packaging used on the AC Plus V2 and Heavy B series of pads. Now, unboxing the pad is quite easy, but as we've seen with other X-Ray pads that use this style of packaging, depending on how long the pad has been rolled inside, sometimes the pad won't sit completely flat out of the box, as its rubber base will keep rolling inward, causing the edges of the pad to crease upwards. If this happens, it's very important that you don't reverse roll the pad, as doing so can crease or warp the surface layer, permanently damaging the pad. Instead, it's best to simply put something heavy on top of the pad for a day or so to flatten it out. I recommend stacking some heavy books on the creased areas, or just putting a large flattened heavy box or something similar on top of the pad to flatten it out. And since the pad cannot be reverse rolled, as I just mentioned, if you do need to repackage the AC Plus pad for storage or transport, be sure to roll the pad with the base facing inward and the surface outward, forward, and we also do recommend holding onto the AC Plus's packaging, as that way you can reuse the packaging to safely store and transport the pad as needed. In terms of surfacing, unsurprisingly, all the Aqua Control Plus series of pads use the same non-coated Amundsen fabric, the same fabric type used on several of X-Raypad's other pad lineups. This material is in part what gives the AC Plus its high moisture resistance as well as its durability, but we'll talk more about that later. For weaving, the non-coated Amundsen fabric is woven in a dense cross stitch, creating a plus-like symbol stitching across the pad, which is what gives these pads their high pixel accuracy, even X-Y axes, as well as many other features. This is the same style of surface weaving used by not only the AC Plus V2 series, but also the AC Pro and many of X-Raypad's other pad lineups. However, while being similar, those other pads differentiate themselves in terms of threading thickness and density, but regardless, as I mentioned earlier, the AC Plus series does make up the core of many X-Raypad's other pad lineups, hence why you'll see many similarities between them, as almost all of them are built on the core design of the Aqua Control Plus series. Another aspect of the AC Plus series pads that is shared by many of other X-Raypad's lineups is that depending on the type you get, there will be a slight variance in the surface's friction. Now, the AC Plus in the black colorway is the slowest, followed by the AC Plus White, then the AC Plus Custom, and then the AC Plus Wave, but unlike the AC Pro series of pads, for example, where the neon versions were significantly faster than the solid colored versions, the difference between the various versions of the Aqua Control Plus series is very slight, far slighter than what we've seen on X-Raypad's other pad lineups. And on the topic of surfacing, it's also worth noting that just like the AC Pro and AC Plus V2 series of pads, the Aqua Control Plus's surfacing does have a bit of a rougher texturing to it, which you can feel through your mouse's skates as well as against your skin. For softness types, as I mentioned earlier, the AC Plus series of pads is currently available in both 3 and 4mm versions, and these differing thicknesses is the primary differentiating factor between the various types of the AC Plus, as the different surfacing types have such a slight variance between them, as I just mentioned. Now, the 3mm base type is most akin to the mid base we found on the AC Pro Black and Neon, as the surface is quite firm and doesn't have much give to it, if any, which means you can't press your mouse into the pad to increase its friction coefficients by a very high degree, whereas the 4mm base has a much softer, plushier base, which is firmer than the AC Plus V2's new updated base, but more akin to the softness of the Heavy B soft base. But unlike the 3mm base, this base allows you to press your mouse quite deeply into the pad's surface to increase its friction coefficients by a much wider degree. But as I said earlier, the 3mm versions of the AC Plus series are being discontinued, so if you're transitioning from a 3mm to a 4mm version of the AC Plus, there will be a noticeable difference in terms of speed and control, so keep that in mind. Now, in terms of performance profiles for the AC Plus series of pads, as I mentioned earlier, since all versions use a non-coated Amundsen fabric, which is woven in a plus symbol shaped style, this in combination with the mid and soft base options gives the AC Plus series of pads a fairly wide range of performance profiles. However, all the versions fall into the hybrid or hybrid balance range in terms of their performance profiles, as expected for a pad in the AC series lineup. And as I just discussed in the softness sections, the performance profile of your pad will vary slightly depending on the base version of the AC Plus you get, as the 3mm mid base gives the AC Plus a faster, more hybrid performance profile, while the 4mm soft base gives the AC Plus a more controlled, balanced performance profile. But regardless of the base type you get, both types of the Aqua Control Plus have the same surfacing, which has a more textured feel to it, which gives the AC Plus series of pads a smooth but controlled glide, but is even on both the X and Y axes, further adding to the pad's hybrid and hybrid balance feel. But keep in mind that on the 4mm soft base, you can further utilize this textured surface and the base by pressing your mouse into the pad to increase the AC Plus's friction coefficients, hence the more balanced performance profile on the thicker, softer base. As such, the 3mm AC Plus series of pads fall into the hybrid performance profile, as I mentioned earlier, having a fast, consistent glide. This makes this pad type ideal for both high TTK games such as Overwatch 2, Marvel Rivals, Splitgate 2, Fortnite, Apex Legends, Call of Duty, and Battlefield, as well as low TTK games such as Counter-Strike 2, Valorant, and Rainbow Six Siege. But technically speaking, due to the firmer base type, this pad type is best suited for higher TTK games. Whereas the 4mm AC Plus series of pads fall into the balanced or balanced hybrid performance profile, having a slower glide due to the softer base, but having the same consistency as the 3mm version in terms of its glide. This version is also very well suited for both high TTK games and low TTK games, but due to the softer and more controlled base, this version is technically best optimized for low TTK games, games such as Counter-Strike 2, Valorant, and Rainbow Six Siege. But keep in mind that you can further optimize your AC Plus series of pad for a particular game or aim types by combining them with either our Jade or Obsidian series skates. So if you want to further optimize the pad for higher TTK games by making it faster and giving it a smoother glide, you can use our Jade or Jade Ultra series skates, or alternatively if you want to make the AC Plus more optimized for low TTK games by making it more controlled and increasing its braking frictions, you can use our Obsidian or Obsidian Ultra series skates. So even though the 3mm version of the AC Plus is being discontinued, keep in mind you can optimize the 4mm version for specific game types with the right skate type, so be sure to explore our various skate options, and I'll have the breakdown videos for both the standard and Ultra series skates as well as their product pages linked down in the video description, so if you'd like to learn more about our premium skate offerings, check out those videos. In terms of base types, both the 3mm and 4mm versions of the AC Plus series of pads use a rubber base, which has a linear zigzag texturing running across it. This base in combination with its texturing does anchor the pads quite well to most desktop surfaces, and the pad doesn't move or shift significantly during use, even with your whole arm resting against it. But keep in mind that over very long-term use, this base will collect dust and debris as all bases do, so over very long-term use the base might lose some of its anchoring strength, and if this does happen you can easily clean the base, and we'll talk about how to do that later in this video. Now in terms of skate compatibility, the AC Plus series of pads, due to the different base softnesses, do have varying skate compatibility depending on the version you purchase. For the 3mm versions of the AC Plus series of pads with the mid base, due to the base's firmness, this pad type will be compatible with both full-size and half-size stock skates, all types of donut skates, and all types of dot skates, while the 4mm AC Plus series of pads with the softer base, due to the added depth, are only compatible with full-size skates, donut skates, and 8mm or larger dot skates. Sadly, smaller dots and some mice's stock skates with smaller surface areas will have too small of a surface area to counteract the depth of the pad's softer base and will bottom out when pressure is applied to them. So keep this in mind if you plan on pairing your AC Plus series of pad with any of our Jade or Obsidian series skates, and be sure to get the type that will be most compatible with your pad's base softness. For edge stitching, both versions of the AC Plus series of pads use the same rounded edge stitching we've seen on X-Raypad's other pad lineups, and the edge stitching will sit even with the pad's height to prevent that gap feeling between the pad surface and edges, but it's important to note that on the 3mm version of the AC Plus series pads, this version's edge stitching, while still being rounded, will be more flattened than the 4mm version's edge stitching. But regardless of the type, both versions' edge stitching, as expected, is very easy to move your arm across or up or down, and the rounded nature of the edge stitching ensures that it doesn't add significant amount of drag to your movements across it. And it's also worth noting that just like we saw in the AC Plus V2 series of pads, if you purchase the AC Plus custom print, you can choose between either black, clear, or white for the edge stitching color, so you can customize the edge stitching to best complement the pad's custom art. In terms of the effects of moisture, as I mentioned earlier, since the AC Plus series of pads surface is made out of non-coated Eminson fabric, like many of the other AC series of pads, the surface is highly resistant to moisture. So not only will sweat from your arms or hands have a minimal impact on the pad's performance, the pad will also be highly resistant to humidity, and if any moisture does make contact with the pad's surface, it will drain through the less dense surface weaving, further preventing moisture from affecting the pad's performance. But that said, if the pad gets waterlogged, it will slow down, as all pads will. However, moisture from a humid environment over your hands or arms won't affect the AC Plus series of pads performance in any significant way. And in terms of the effects of dust and debris, just like the other versions of the AC series of pads, the AC Plus series is largely immune to larger debris types such as crumbs or pet fur. However, smaller debris particles such as dust, along with dead skin, sweat, and oils from your hands and arms can affect the pad surface over long-term use, as they can fill the gaps in the surface weaving. Now this will cause the lighter colored AC Plus pads such as the white or lighter wave colorways to discolor or yellow slightly, but this will only happen over very long-term use, and you can prevent this yellowing or discoloring by spot cleaning the pad surface periodically as needed, and we'll go over how to properly clean the pad in a moment. In terms of arm sleeve compatibility, since the AC Plus series of pads have that more textured surfacing similar to the AC Pro series of pads, the pad does have a fair amount of texture when it makes contact with your skin, though not to a degree that might cause discomfort. However, if you dislike the feeling of the surface texture or just prefer the feeling of an arm sleeve, all versions of the AC Plus are fully compatible with any gaming optimized arm sleeve available on the market with a spandex or polyester blend, but it's worth noting that sleeves with a softer texture surface will still feel very controlled and rough, so if you plan on using a sleeve with the AC Plus Plus series of pads, be sure to get one with a proper blend and a smooth surface for the best experience. And lastly, in terms of care and cleaning instructions, if the surface of your AC Plus starts to yellow or discolor, we recommend spot cleaning the pad with a wet wipe as needed, but if you need to deep clean the pad, you can do so with a shower head set to low pressure and lukewarm or cold water. Do not use hot water. And you can also clean the bases using the same method, but keep in mind that fully soaking the pad surface will slightly alter the surface feel. And also, again, just be sure not to use hot water or soap or any kind of cleaning chemicals on the pad, as they can damage the pad. Also, it's worth mentioning, regardless of how you clean the pad surface, be sure to let the pad air dry and do not use an iron or a hair dryer to dry the pad, as that can also damage the pad. And for transport or storing the AC Plus series of pads, as I mentioned earlier, just like X-Raypad's other AC series of pads, you cannot reverse roll the pad, as doing so can damage the surface. So if you need to store or transport the pad, ensure you roll it with the base facing inward and the surface outward. And again, we recommend holding onto the pad's packaging, as you can reuse it to store or transport the pad safely. Alright, and with that, that's everything you need to know about the Aqua Control Plus series of pads. If you're looking for a tried and true mousepad that delivers a fantastic hybrid or hybrid balanced performance profile suitable for all gamer aim types, which also comes in several designs as well as full custom printing, the AC Plus series is a fantastic option. But as I mentioned earlier, the 3mm version is being discontinued in the near future, and if you want a pad with a similar performance profile, I'd recommend checking out the AC Pro Mid series of pads, as they have a very similar performance profile to the 3mm AC Plus, but with a variety of improvements and a superior base design. And on that note, if in the future the 4mm version of the AC Plus is also discontinued, you can get the new updated AC Plus V2, which is pretty much identical to the 4mm version of the AC Plus, just with an upgraded base type, which is not only grippier but also slightly softer, which gives the pad the same balanced performance profile, albeit a little more controlled, and in some new colorways as well. But if you'd like to learn more about the AC Plus series of pads or the AC Pro or AC Plus V2 series of pads, I'll have all their respective breakdown videos for all these pads, as well as their product links down in the video description for you. And don't forget, if you pick up an Aqua Control Plus or anything else from X-Raypad's website, be sure to use code BREAKDOWN for an additional discount off your order if applicable. And as always, if you have any specific questions about the AC Plus series of pads we didn't cover in this video, feel free to leave your question down in the comments and we'll do our best to answer any questions you may have. But that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for choosing X-Raypad. Cheers.